Hi guys, I thought I'd do a 2 for 1 today. I thought I'd show you how I do my wall hangings. I'm using a heart shape for this one. I've done a few of them. I'm just going to show you with one big heart today, but you could always, like I've done in the past, get a large one, a medium-sized one and a small one and actually hang them in a line. But I'm just going to show you the one. Because people have asked me if I would show how I did it. But I'm also going to make a pendant, so you can see that the technique I'm using can be used for something as large as this, but also for something as small as a pendant. Now this cutter came from Oh Joy Creations, so I'll be using that one. Like I say, I've got this heart, and this one measures at the widest point across 4 inches and 3.5 inches this way, so 4 by 3.5 is the size of this heart. So you need enough white clay, which I've got here, to accommodate this heart, and I rolled this piece of clay, and it's primo by the way, onto a number 3 on my Atlas 150, 0 being the thickest setting. I've also got another piece of white clay rolled out a little bit thinner than this one. This one's rolled onto a 4, and then again it's got to accommodate the size of the heart. So there's those, and then I've just rolled out another big slab of white clay, which not all of this is going to be used, but I didn't want to keep going backwards and forwards to my pasta machine, and this is just rolled out onto the thicker setting. Not that that matters, because you'll see why. I'm also going to be using this texture roller. I love it, and I also got this from Oh Joy Creations. I will leave a link for her website in the description. Now the other thing that I'm going to be using are these Christy Friesen Swelligans. A lot of you might already know about these, some of you might not. Now they come in a whole set of different metallic coatings, colours, but I'm just going to go with 2. I'm going to go with this bronze and this copper. And you can also get the patinas to go along with that. Again, this is Swelligant patina, and I'm going to be going with the Tiffany green rust and the gold green verdigris. Again, these come in a set, and I will leave a link for those in my Amazon storefront. But what I've done is actually taken these 2 patinas and put them in spray bottles. It's just easier to work with that way. And then the other thing I'm going to be using is the Swelligant Prep, which you apply to the clay before you apply the metal coatings and the patinas. And this stuff is pretty cool actually. It actually oxidizes and you can smell the metal in them. But you'll see what happens when I use them. Alright, so there's those. Got my cutter, got my roller. You'll also need a flexible blade. I've got a couple of brushes for the patina and the metal coatings, etc. And I'm going to be using a couple of moulds as well. Your choice on which moulds you want. It's just anything to decorate your heart and or pendant with. I've got these butterflies. I can't leave you a link for these. I got them from Michael's probably over a year ago, but they're just some butterflies. And I've got this. I've never used this and it looks a little flimsy, but there's a nice little rose in there that I thought I could use. Don't know where I got this one from, sorry. I think that's everything for now, but I know what I'm like, I forget, so we'll see. Anyway, get your heart cutter or your pendant, doesn't matter which, but I'm going with this big one, and I'm just going to place it on my clay. And I'm getting a hot flash right now. Woo! Whew. I hate it when that happens. They just like appear out of nowhere. I'm probably the colour of beetroot right now. But anyway, moving on. So I'm just pushing this clay down into the heart because I want this heart to be domed, like a puffy looking thing. It's going to be hollow because I'm going to put a backing on this as well. So I'm just pushing it down into there, and I want to just quickly flip it over to see if that's good, and I think that's good. maybe just push it in a little bit more. Now you can make this as domed as you want to, but I just want a nice gentle slope on this. So I'm just pushing it around, and actually guys, while I think about it, just to make it doubly secure, I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid clay around the edges. It just helps to stick the back onto this. I don't always do it, I don't always remember to do it, but it just came to me just now, so I thought I'd do that. Just smear some around the edges, like so. And when you're happy with your dome, get your backing sheet of clay and just place it on the back. And I just like to give it a good stretch over without cutting through. I'm just pressing it quite gently down so it sticks to the front clay, and I'm giving it a stretch so it's nice and tight on there. And I'm just going to grab a piece of paper to bake on. Just giving this a bit of a smooth, flip it over and cut, and hopefully that's joined together nicely. Hopefully. I'm just going to get my blade and just cut there and pull away the excess. Okay, I've got to gently get this out now. I should have probably done it on the tile. Hopefully it'll be okay. There we go. Alright, so there's the heart, and you can see it's kind of puffy and it's got a nice seal all the way around the edge of it. I'm not too worried about any blemishes because a lot of this is going to get covered over with decoration. Alright, so there's the heart, and I'm just going to take my other piece of clay that I rolled out already, and I'm just going to cut this out so we can do the pendant at the same time. I know I've noticed that when I've done something other than jewellery, I don't get as many views. But that's fine, I guess. But I thought, well, seeing as you can do a pendant with this technique, I thought I'd just show you both as well. Alright, so I've cut my beautiful shape out. Just give the edges a bit of a smooth. And I'm just going to put that to one side for the minute because I'm going to work on this first. So let me just move those out of the way, and I'm just going to bring in my big piece of white clay that I already rolled out. And I'm just going to take this texture roller and I'm going to place it on the clay, gently press down and then roll. So you've got a nice texture coming through. And I'm wondering if I've done that deep enough. It should be okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take areas of this that I really like, and I'm just going to take some shavings away. Try and cut as thin as you can. That was a little bit thick. I'm just going to try and cut a little bit thinner so you get more of a lacy effect. Oops. And this is going to be so fragile. I'll try not to break it. It's very fragile. And I'm just going to do that. Oh my gosh, it's sticking to me. I'm going to keep doing that until I've got all the pieces that I want. And you can just keep re-rolling out the texture. I mean, you could also use just regular stamps that give a nice impression and shave those off. I just really like this design on this texture. Try and get another really fragile bit there. And if you just kind of hold your blade more in the centre rather than at the edges, you get better control when you start to slice. What else have we got on here? And you're really just shaving off the surface, although that doesn't always work out. It's so easy to cut too deep. So I'm just going to keep going on this, and then I'm going to re-roll my clay off camera and maybe cut some more pieces or shave some more pieces off. But I don't need to show you every single shaving that I shave off. You get the idea. Whoops. So just a few more little slices. That's really thin. Alright, so I'm going to do the rest of that slicing off camera. I'm going to roll this clay back out. Before I do that though, I'm just going to make a couple of pieces from the moulds that I've got here. So I'm just going to roll some of this white clay back out, and I'm just going to stuff it in this butterfly. This is a very easy technique, guys, but I thought it would be cool to show you the effects of the swelligant, and especially if you've never heard of it. I think I might have gone a bit thin on that one. I think I did. I'm not too bothered about the antennae anyway. This is going to have a very kind of weathered look, so I'm not overly concerned about the pieces even being perfect. They can be rugged looking. So there's a cute little butterfly. And I think that's all I'll do on camera. So I'm just going to go and get some more shavings and some more little moulds ready, and I'll be back. So I continue to take some more shavings off using this roller texture roller. So I've got some shavings from that. I've also done a few little roses. I will leave a link. I can't leave a link for this specific rose, but I do have another rose stamp. Let me just see if I can find it, that I can leave a link to. It's just whether I can find it, guys. I probably should have got it before I started re-recording again. I can't find it, but I will leave a link and there will be a picture of it so you can decide whether you want it or not. It's really nice, actually, from Amazon. So yeah, like I said, I've got some roses. I'm probably not even going to use all of this, but I wanted to be prepared. And I've also done some butterflies. I'm sure you could find some butterfly molds on Amazon. Okay, so here we go then. This is just a case now of gently placing all these shaved areas, all these shaved pieces rather, onto the heart. Now it might be an idea just to add a little bit of liquid clay. That way you don't have to press so hard to make sure that it's adhered. But I'm just going to do a little bit for now, because I'm just going to decorate it and see as I go where I think it will look good. So I'm not going to do the whole edge with the liquid clay, just do a little bit at a time. Okay, so let me have a think. Let's put this butterfly here. So he's kind of just sitting on the very edge of that heart, and I'm just gently pressing it down because I don't want to push the dome on this. I mean, if you wanted to, you could bake the heart first and then do this after it's baked, but I'm fine doing it this way. It just saves a little bit of time as well. Now let me try and find a really nice lacy piece, and of course some of these are going to be extremely fragile because they're so thin, but I'm just going to start placing these little delicate bits just in a random fashion onto the heart like so. We don't want you. Get rid of those little bits that appeared. And I'm just going to grab my liquid clay again, and I'm just going to put a little drop of it here, and let's add a rose, like so. And that's all you're doing, guys. You're just decorating it however you feel. I just really like the look of stuff going around the edge and even overlapping a little bit, and then you can just kind of tuck it over onto the side. Oops. I'm just going to give my hands a wipe, they're mega sticky. Yeah, so just lay it on there, and you can even have it hanging over the sides and then just gently push it onto the edge like that. Now I'm going to get a few thicker bits as well. They don't all have to be mega thin. You can have some thicker bits like this one, and I'm just going to place that there. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just laying the pieces where I think they look good. Let's get another lovely lacy piece, and again I'm just taking that onto the edge and giving that a press like so. Let's start going onto this side a little bit now, and I am just going to do the edges and leave the centre without decoration. Why you not come out? Come on, you naughty girl. There we go. Right. Got a dirty bit there, but never mind, it's going to get covered. Right, let me find another piece that will look cool. Let's put that there. Just push that underneath a little bit. It doesn't matter if it goes round to the back, you're not going to see it. And there's another very delicate piece. I'm going to put that there. Let me put another rose here somewhere. And I am being very gentle when I press it onto the heart, but if you've got that liquid clay underneath, it's going to stick just fine. Okay, so there's that. Let's go around the top now. There's still a little bit more here that I want to... What is up with this? I'm just going to finish taking that round there. And just put that there. And it's a good idea to put it on paper so you can just spin it around as well. I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to put that there. And I think I might change my mind because I normally do. Let's just put another little bit over here. So this is all on you and your imagination, how you want this to look. I'm just doing what I think looks nice. Let's just have a little bit more there coming out like so. And I'm just going to put another heart, I keep saying heart, another rose here. Like that. Kind of press it down so it goes into the shape that the heart is. And then I'm going to find that other little butterfly that I did, and I'm going to rest him on there like that. So let's just put a little bit of liquid clay on him. And I'm just going to boop, like so. And I think I'm good with that. Let me just move some of these pieces out of the way so I can lift it and show you. Alright. So that's what you've got, guys, or that's what I've got. So like I say, I've just gone more around the edges and left the middle blank, but you can do whatever you want to. So that's the heart. Oh, before I forget, because I've done this before, I forgot to put a hole in it. To hang it. I find my little cutters. Which one do I want? I'm going to make it a fairly big hole because I want to put some cord through it. I'll show you that at the end though. Alright, so I've just got one of these really small cutters, or you could use a straw or something. Now I'm just wondering if it might be an idea just to take these back off for a second so I can put the hole where I want it to go. Don't worry about it going flat there. It's going to. Alright, so I've put my hole in there. Now I can just put these back where they were. Like so. And there we go. So that's going to go and get baked. I'll bake this for an hour. I'm just smoothing this little edge here. So that's the heart, guys. That's what it looks like thus far. Now, the same can be done on a pendant. Exactly the same thing. So let's just quickly do this then. I mean, you could even do a heart pendant if you wanted. Do the same thing and just decorate it around the edges. I want to find some nice pieces. And put that there. I'm just looking at another one that I did to get an idea. I might do it a little bit differently though. So I'm just going to put that there. Take it over the back. Give it a press. I think I might go with, shall I? I think I might go with a bigger piece up here. And I'm just going to take it round the back and fold this over. Don't worry about the back, guys. This will get, you can either put another layer of clay on the back, or what I do is resin and glitter, as you know. So that's what I will do with this one, but it just gives it a nice, you know, it goes over nice on the edges. So there's that. Now what else do I want? I don't want to overload this. Shall I have a rose? Or shall I go with a butterfly? I don't think I want both though. Or do I? Could even have him hanging off the edge. Not sure. Not sure. Yeah, I think he looks... Do you know what? I think I am going to add a rose because then it gives that butterfly some height. So I'm just going to put those there. Okay. So I'm just going to plop that there. Put some more liquid clay on him. Give it a bit of a spread. And then I'm going to have him perched on that rose, like so. So you've kind of got a matching pendant and heart. You could stand next to the heart while you're wearing the pendant. And I'm just being silly. I think maybe just a touch more decoration on this edge, and I think that's good. Yeah, and I think I'm good with that, guys. Alright, so you've got your wall art, and you can also do a pendant. Alright guys, so these are going to go in the oven to bake for an hour, and then once that's done I shall be back and we'll start working with that swelligant, and you'll see some amazing effects. Alright guys, be back. Okay, this has been baked and it's cooled off, so now we can move on to the next step. Now this is where we're going to be going backwards and forwards because we need to get the prep on first. So I'm just going to empty some of this out if I can. It's not that easy to squeeze, to be honest. So I'm just going to, she says, I'm just going to put some out. It's a bit glue-like, this stuff. I'm not going to use a whole load. It's more important that you put this on jewellery, just so the wear is better, apparently. I'm not scientific in any way. I just know that I can apply this and it does cool things. If you want more of a detailed explanation on how Swelligant works and what actually happens, I will leave you the link to Christy Friesen's video on that. Now, she says just to dab this stuff over, don't do brush strokes, just kind of dab it, and it just gives it something for the metal coating to grab onto. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just dabbing it on there with this brush. And I'm not too concerned about doing this overly on this piece because this is just going to get hung up, but on your jewellery, excuse me, she recommends, I'm not sure why there's black coming out of this. Could have swore this was a clean brush. I guess it wasn't. I'm just giving that a clean. So yeah, anyway, I forgot what I was saying now, guys. Derp. I'm just going to keep on just going over the piece like this, just to give it some coating of this prep stuff. I've got a lot of black coming out. What the heck? Maybe there's some kind of weird reaction going on because the brush seems clean. Don't know. Not to worry. Alright, so just dab it all over. Just give it a, you know, a fairly decent coat. You don't have to, I'm not being overly thorough with this. Just so long as there's some of that tackiness all over. Because like I say, this is almost glue. It's between paint and glue kind of texture. There is some stickiness to it. Okay, so I'll just give the edges a little bit of a dab as well. So then it's a case of just leaving this to dry, and this is where it gets a little bit time consuming. I'm going to put that to one side and leave it to dry, and I'm just going to move quickly onto the pendant. Clean my brush again. And I'm just going to pop a little bit more on here. And if you can hear that noise in the background, that's my air just come on. So, okay, so I'm just doing the same thing with the pendant. I'm going to be a little bit more thorough with this because obviously this is going to be worn and we need that durability. So, I'm going around the edges as well. It does get a little messy, just so you know. If you want to wear gloves, go ahead. But I'm just giving this quite a good coat, just to make sure every little nook and cranny has got some of that on it. So that's that. Now, Christy says if you want to speed things up a little bit, you can put your pieces back in the oven on a low temperature. I think she said 200 degrees to dry. I'm not going to do that because it means I've got to go upstairs and do that. So I'm just going to put those to the side and leave them to dry, and once they are dry I will be back. Alright guys, I left these to dry for about an hour just to be on the safe side. I mean, I think they were, oh actually there's still a little bit wet on the edges, but the most of it's dry, so give it about an hour I would say. You can always keep checking on it, but that's how long I left mine. Strange that the edges are still a little damp, but that's okay. Alright, so I've got myself a clean brush, and let's move on to these metal coatings, and I'm using, like I say, the bronze and the copper. Make sure you give them a good shake before you use them. And then I'm just going to use this tile to pour the coating onto the tile. Now apparently it's best to do 2 coats of this, so do 1 coat, just, you know, a quick going over like this. So I'm going to do some of the copper. You can mix and match, and you need to let that dry. Once you've done this part, you need to let this dry again, and then you need to do a second coat. So I'll do this, let it dry, put on a second coat and come back so we can move on to the next step, but I'll just finish this first. So I'm just adding a little bit more, and you can see I'm just I'm not brush stroking it on, it leaves smears, just kind of dab it on, and I'm just being a bit random with it. I'm going to leave that for that, and then I'm just going to do this pendant as well, and I'm getting around the edges on this, and just a little bit there. Like I say, you can go and watch Christy Friesen's tutorial on this, on swelligants and how they work and what you can do with them. She goes into a lot more detail than I do. I'm just showing you how I make my pieces, and the effects are really cool, and you could keep going forever with them. Actually, just keep adding more and more bits and bobs to it. Apparently there's dyes as well, which I don't have any of those. That's just to give your piece some different colours or whatever. I'm not sure how they work, but I'm just using these so far. Alright, so that was the copper. Now I'm going to use this bronze. I'm going to mix and match mine with copper and bronze and see what happens. Oops. Did I just pour the same colour out? Am I getting completely mixed up here? Hang on a minute, guys. Yeah, I did. Oh, no I didn't. That's right. Derp. They look the same under this light. Got a bit confused there. Alright, so same with this. I'm just going to continue to cover this whole piece. And like I say, I'm using the 2 different coatings, copper and bronze. So I'm just dabbing it all over. Just making sure it's got a pretty nice coverage. There's always going to be a few little white bits showing through, and that's why she recommends that you do 2 coats. So that's what I shall do. I have done this. I have made one of these already, so I know how it works, but I'm not that good at explaining how it works. It's all to do with chemical reactions and the metal being oxidized once you put the patinas on, all that kind of thing. So, alright, so I've covered this. I'm going to put that over there. Now, just a word of warning, don't get this on anything that you don't want to turn into metal. So if you've got like one of your blades, for example, if you got some of this on your blade and didn't wipe it off quick enough, whoops, wrong one, it would start to oxidize, it would start to turn metallic. So I'm just going back over with this just to give it a decent coverage, get the edges a little bit. Like I say, it is quite a messy job. But I don't have any gloves, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't wear them. I would just work so much better without. Alright, so I've covered that piece as well, and they just need to sit until they're completely dry. It doesn't take that long to dry, probably about 30 minutes it's touch dry, and you can go ahead and do the second coat. Alright guys, so yeah, I'm to-ing and fro-ing again. But that's just the process of this. So once it's dried, I'll be back. Alright guys, I left these to dry and they're dry. Oh, that little bit isn't. Whoops. They were drying for about an hour maybe. I know they're touch dry sooner than that. There is just a little bit on there that didn't dry for some reason. It's pretty cold down here though, so alright, so this is where the fun begins. So we need to do another coat of our metal coating. I don't know, I put two colours on there, but you can't actually see that much difference. The magic will happen when we put the patinas on. So I'm just going to give this another coat all over. I'll try and be a little bit more precise as to where I put each colour this time. So I just want to get this nicely coated. Like so, and quickly do the pendant. Oops, went off camera, sorry. Just quickly do this pendant as well. Okay, quickly move to the next colour because you have to add the patinas while the metal coating is still moist. So I'm just working fairly quickly. I'm just getting all those spaces covered like so. And like I say, you can mix and match. So it doesn't matter if one colour goes over another. It just all adds to the effect, the overall finished effect. So I am just kind of mingling it all. And I'm actually not that bothered if there is some white showing through. And you will see why later. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the bronze down here. And just continue to fill this pendant with colour. Like so. So when you're happy that you've got a good coating on your piece, this is where the fun begins, and this is where it gets mega messy. And I'm just gonna grab a paper towel just to quickly wipe this up a little bit, just a smidge. Oops, it's oops. Hee hee. Durr, that was a stupid thing to do. Let's wipe my arm with a dirty rag. Anyway, so my pieces are nice and wet still. So I'm just going to take each of my patinas. As I said, I'm using, this is the gold green verdigris put in a bottle, and this one is the Tiffany green rust. So let's just start spraying these babies with this. I'm just going to, you can put quite a lot on, you can really saturate this. You don't have to be, you know, gentle with it. Whew. And it stinks. And then I'm using the other one now. So I'm just slapping it on there, guys. I'm just spraying it on there. Make sure I get the edges too. Actually smells a bit vinegary at the moment. So I'm just going to leave that. Now, it doesn't look like anything right now. You think, what the heck is going on here? Well, you've got to give it time now to oxidize and for that reaction between the patinas and the metal coating to do its thing. So, and the beauty of this as well, when we come back and see what it's done, you can keep adding more of this to wherever you want it to look different, you want to change it up a little bit. You know, so you don't have to leave it like this. You can keep on going back to it and adding little bits here and there. But at the moment, and this is perfectly normal, it looks like sludge. It looks like a big muddy mess, but that is perfectly normal. We just need to leave it to sit and let it do its thing. So I am going to just leave it because there's nothing I can do with it at this point. They say it's touch dry between, I don't know, 30 minutes and an hour. That's what I read anyway. I don't particularly time it. I just leave it, and then when I come back and check it, if it's dry, I move on to the next step. So there we go. We've got a nice pile of sludge. But I'll be back when it's worked its magic. Ooh. Guys, I just wanted to show you after 5 minutes what it looks like, and you can see the change starting. It's gone from that sludgy brown to a sludgy green now, but that's what it's supposed to look like as it goes through the process. So that's after 5 minutes. That's what it looks like. It kind of looks like pond swamp, algae, however you say it. But yeah, that's what it looks like. So I'm just going to leave it obviously for longer, and I'll show you. I'm rambling, guys. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just wanted to show you what it looks like after just a few minutes, so you know that it's working when it starts to look like that. Alright, so I am going to let this completely dry, and again I will be back. So this has been left for a few hours, and it's now at least a touch dry. I mean, you could leave it longer, but it's fine to do what we want to do with it. And the same with this. I'm just going to dry. Actually, I don't need to dry it off because I'm going to sand it. What am I talking about? Okay, so this is the look I've got. Now you can see some of the green, and then you can see some of the blue showing through. So if you wanted to alter it, you could. I would have preferred a little more blue, but I'm not going to do that on this tutorial. But if you wanted to, you could just go back and add the metal coating again, say the copper, and then add the, if you wanted it more blue, then go with the one that's called I think it's this one, Filigree Green Rust. I mean, it's a blue liquid. And then the greener one was this one, which is the gold green verdigris. So it's up to you. You could just keep playing with it and deciding how you want it to look. But what I want to do now is actually sand some of it back off, just because I like the look of it. So I'm just dipping the whole thing in water, and I've got some 400 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to go over areas just to bring some of that white back through, see? And some in the middle as well. So you just keep going over where you want it to reveal what's underneath. Bring a little bit of the white through. I just want that aged look. I mean, it already looks pretty aged as it is, but I just want that extra, you know, look. So just keep doing that until you're happy. Now the other thing you could do as well is maybe get a pokey tool of some kind or a blade and just scratch little areas here and there. It's up to you. Just play around. You want to get that really weather worn look. So I'm just putting a few little scratches in there. And I'm just going to keep sanding until I'm happy. Like so. Like I say, I prefer, I mean, this colour's gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but if I was to hang this somewhere in my house, it would have to be more blue because I don't have anything green. So ideally, I will actually show you one that I did that came out more bluey. It's all just a question of playing around with it, guys. It's you get a bit of a surprise with it. You don't really ever know what you're going to get. So you just have to keep playing with it. But there we go. So I think I'm just going to leave that where that is. Actually, just take a little bit off here. And you just keep going until you're happy. So there we go, there's the heart, and all you need to do is add some kind of string or cord or whatever, which I will do. What did I do with the pendant? So let's just go to the pendant now and do the same thing. Now don't worry about the back is going to get sorted, but I'll just show you the front. Now in terms of sealing it, because you do really need to seal it, they say it's better to leave it a few days or a couple of days maybe for everything to fully cure before you seal it in. Now there is a sealant that goes with this. I don't use that, I haven't got that. I'm just going to use some Rust-Oleum matte polyurethane glaze just to protect that surface a little bit, and it works fine with that. So I'm just going to get quite a bit more sanded off on this. Now I expect somebody's going to ask me, well, can't you just use acrylic paint to do this? Yes, you could. Is it going to get the exact same effect? No, but you could. I mean, I've done it. I've worked with acrylic patinas where you just rub the paint over and rub it back off. So you could get a similar effect. But I just think this looks kind of cool. Okay. I think I'm actually going to play with the pendant a little more. I think I'm going to add the more bluey colour on there. I'm not going to do this on camera because I just wanted to give you an idea. But all I'm going to do is repaint those areas that I want different in my choice of metal coating, and then I'm going to add my choice of patina, and I'm probably going to go with this one because it's more bluey than green. But I'll just show you as it is for now, and I'll just show you some other ones that I made so you can get an idea. But there you go, that's all I did, guys. It is a lot of to-ing and fro-ing again, but I think the results speak for themselves. I think it looks pretty cool. So I'm just going to dry this off. I'm going to put some kind of cord through it, etc. I'm just going to finish it off, and I'll be back and I will show you some other pieces that I've made using Swelligant. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back and I finished it, other than to seal it, which I'm not going to do for probably a few days, but there's the finished piece. Like I say, you can go back as many times and play with it, alter it, add different, patinas to it or whatever. But there's that piece, and I just put a cord through, and I've added this little charm which is kind of reminiscent of the roses that are in the piece itself, and that's just from this box of little charms that I got, and they come in different sizes, different patterns. You got some cute flowers. I think there's some smaller flowers. The smaller ones would be really cool to go with earrings or something, but they're from Amazon. I will leave a link Everything will be in my Amazon storefront. So there's that one that I did on camera. This is another one that I did about a week or so ago. I prefer this one because this is a lot more green, and this goes better with my decor, but they're still beautiful. They're both beautiful. I added a few leaves on this one, some different flowers. I will leave links for different molds that you could use to make this kind of thing. Okay, so there's those. Now the pendant, as you know, I said I wanted to alter it, so it's in the middle of altering, so it just looks like sludge again at the moment. But that's just to let you know that you can do that. You can go back and change it, alter it a little bit. So I will just show you some that I'd already made. And here's one, and I've just literally pushed a pinch bell through for now. I think I glittered it. Yeah, glittered and resined on the back. The edges have got some of that metallic coating on the side, which kind of makes it look kind of cool. And again, a little more bluey, but I did exactly the same thing, just shaved pieces off, layered it on there, and did the swelligant. So there's that piece. I really like that actually. It almost looks like Victorian or something. There's that one, and then this one, different shape, same technique. Both of these cutters were from Oh Joy Creations, and I absolutely love them. And I do think these shapes lend to a more vintage look. And this one actually reminds me of the Eiffel Tower. But there you go. So there's a couple of pendants. So you can go big or you can go small. I just thought I'd incorporate both so that you would get a general idea. Alright guys, so there we go. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and a great Monday, Memorial Day, and I'll catch you later. Bye.